Stephen Speak, a podcast about everything and nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hello, how the hell are you, everyone? Stephen here for Stephen Speak. I feel quite energetic today, and I feel that after the last episode, I feel like we need a happy one. The last episode, I apologise, it was very mixed up. It was coming straight from the heart, and it was more unrehearsed than I meant it to be. And I feel like some things didn't come across well, so I may re-record that episode and put them side by side for a comparison in the future, just for my own peace of mind, because I feel that sometimes I don't come across how I intend to. And maybe that's to do with the way my brain works. Who knows? Anyway, today's episode is about tattoos. I myself have tattoos. Many people do nowadays. It's kind of like became like an accepted thing. I think back in the day, if you had tattoos, and like even not so long ago, like 20, 30 years ago, if you were covered in a lot of tattoos, I think people immediately thought you had some criminal background, or there was something shady about you, I think. But tattoos are quite commonplace now. Like you see young men and women like pretty much covered in them now. Which each to their own. I have quite a lot of tattoos. I probably should have counted how many. I probably should have counted how many I had before I started this, but I'm going to count now because I'm disorganized. Okay, so on my left arm, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with the hands. I do have a couple of hand tattoos. So on my left, like wedding ring finger, I have Sarah's name on my wedding finger and an infinity sign where my wedding ring is. On my wrist, I have a Celtic knot that goes all the way around my wrist. I have some Gaelic writing, which is above that. I'll come back to that, what my writing means in a minute. I have a flame tattoo, which many people, when I had it done, said it looked like British gas because it's blue and purple, which I was really pleased about. I have some more writing on my upper forearm on the inside, just before my like the crease of my elbow. That's in Latin. Ooh, cultural. And on my top left upper arm, like kind of like near my shoulder, I have the Philadelphia Eagles, the modern Philadelphia Eagles logo, located there on its own because I support the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will until I die. I bleed green. I don't have anything on my right hand, but again, mimicking on my right forearm at the inside, I have some more Latin, and my upper right arm, I have an Eddie tattoo for Iron Maiden. It's the Infinite Dreams one. He's on a motorbike, so it's kind of like dual because I love Iron Maiden and I love motorcycles, so it's kind of like a dual one for me. That is. I don't have any on my back, but on my left chest, I have the words peace and love with a thistle. And that one is quite a personal one for me. Well, I'll go through them all. It's fine, don't worry. My left leg, I have only one tattoo, I think. Do I? Yes, one tattoo. And it's of a Disney character, The Little Mermaid. Yes, I'm not joking. It's a little bit stylized, though, so I always liked like the pin-up girls that used to see on planes in World War II. So I had it done before I got married, and it was a wedding present from one of Sarah's friends who's a tattoo artist, and she did a cracking job. And it's basically of Ariel stylized into like a pin-up model, sitting on a bomb, and the bomb's called Guppy. I like a reference to Flounder. Yeah. There you go. On my right lower leg, I have a lot of Iron Maiden tattoos. Pretty much my complete lower leg is covered, and I need to actually get it finished. To be honest, it's I've not had one for 4 years on that leg. I've not had a tattoo for 4 years actually, because I had my Eagles one, my one on my chest, and an Iron Maiden tattoo done about 4 years ago before I got married. So it was about this time 4 years ago. because I want them to heal in time for me getting married in November. So yeah, it's been a while since I've had a tattoo. I really need to, and I keep saying I need to get book some time in, and I really actually do. I'll have to get down there and get that leg finished and start on my other one, and well, we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I also had another one actually that I had covered up, which was on my very first tattoo was on my right arm. So yeah, obviously there's many reasons people get tattoos. You know, people get tattoos of children, you know, their children's names or bands they like me, or just things they like or patterns. And my very first tattoo, as I've just hinted at, it was on my right upper arm, and it was of a very small triangular Celtic knot. And I go to a place called Ginger Monkey. Not a sponsor, but, you know, you never know. They might hear this and think, oh, we'll credit Steve or something. I'll let you know if they do. But yeah, they are absolutely fantastic at tattooing. Really, really good. They really help you out, and you know, they're good fun, and they're just nice people. They're good people. And I walked in there. It was near to my house, and I'd heard good things about them. And to be honest, a couple of tattoo places I'd been to previously, they were a bit shitty with me, to be honest. People like to know like what you know, like an idea of what tattoo you want. It's really hard for a tattoo studio, I think, that if you walk in and say, tattoo me, or you're very vague with it. I think most people would like you to go in with some sort of sense of ideas and size and how much you want to spend, kind of thing, you know, and not take the piss if they say an amount more than what you were expecting, because, you know, it's an artistry. It's body art, isn't it? Let's face it. And I think Ginger Monkey, where I go, they're very much like that. You know, if you go in with a very vague idea, they'll just tell you to get out and come back when you've got an idea, because it's not their job to tell you what you want on your body. You know, it's your body, and you have to go in there with some idea and some clue. And I'm always the sort of person, I think, that I research things, and I went in kind of knowing what I wanted, but didn't at the same time. But I was very open to say, right, you know, you tell me what you need from me. So, but because the first one I was picking was kind of like off the shelf, let's say, I just went in and said, listen, I want to test a tattoo, because I'm, you know, you hear people say it kills and it's excruciatingly painful. And I kind of wanted to make sure that my first one wasn't massive, but it was something I like. And because I'm Irish, or half Irish, I wanted some. I've always liked Celtic knots and things like that. So I thought I'll get like a small Celtic knot on my upper right arm. And if you've been paying attention, that is where my Eddie riding a motorcycle is now. And I went in and I just said, like, the people were there called Dave and Claire. They're the owners, and I just went in and they were lovely. And I said, listen, all I want is like a Celtic knot tattoo. I said, how much would it be? And they said, how big? And I said, well, X so big, kind of thing. So it's probably like the size. I think it was probably like the size of maybe like about 5 centimeters across, triangular. So not massive, and it wasn't like a really detailed thing. It was just a really basic design. And Dave just said, like, go over there, look at some catalogs, and if there's one in there you like, then pick it. And they're all priced up. If not, go and find one on the internet and bring it in, and we'll do it. You know, but we can't lead you down the path, kind of thing. So I was like, all right, no worries, fair enough. So I quickly went through and I found one that I liked, this little triangular design, as I said. And I said, like, that one, I said, how much is it? And I think it was 25 quid or 30 quid or something. I think it was 25 quid, which I thought that's pretty reasonable. And they'd not long opened, so I got in pretty quickly. And I had it in readiness for going a festival later that year. So when would this be? This would be 2004, 2005. I'd not long moved into my own place in 2004. Started a new job, moved into a new house, and thought, you know, I'm a man now, I need a tattoo. I've been a biker for a while, definitely need that tattoo to go with it. So I got this little tiny, pathetic small Celtic knot. But yeah, you know, and when I was getting it done, Claire said to me, she goes, are you sure you want it there? Because that's quite good real estate for a good sized tattoo on your arm, if you ever wanted to have a large tattoo or a sleeve. And I was like, no, my first tattoo, I want it there, it'll be visible, you know. I don't know, I felt like the upper arm was like the place to have one. And I should have listened to it, because I went in probably 5 or 6 years later, maybe a bit long after that, maybe 7 years later, and it was probably about 7 years, and said, I would like this on my arm. Can you do a cover up of that one with this picture? And she did a fucking phenomenal job, to be fair. Claire's done all my tattoos there. The only tattoo I've not had done at Ginger Monkey is the aerial, and that's because obviously it was a gift from another tattoo artist. And you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, as Michelangelo says. But I obviously it's my body, and I know exactly where that tattoo was. And there's only one little bit that occasionally I can kind of spot. I have to study it for quite some time though. It's beyond me how she managed to do it, to be honest. But she did. She covered it up and it didn't even hurt that much. The initial tattoo. Everyone was saying like how painful they are, and I spoke to a couple of people and said, "Oh my god, like it'll hurt loads." And don't get me wrong, it was uncomfortable. But I didn't. The first one I ever had done, I know it was small, but when they started, I was expecting this, such an immense amount of pain that it was kind of laughable when she started doing it. And a few years before, when would it have been? Yeah, it was probably 2 or 3 years before that. I'd had my nipple pierced randomly. This is going off on a tangent, but I'd gone to Manchester shopping. My mum and dad were in Ireland, and I'd gone to Manchester shopping, and I think I was in the last year of college still. Might have just finished college maybe, and I'd just started my full-time job on the railway. And I wasn't allowed like visible piercings. There was quite a strict dress code and hair colour and all that. So I went to a place called Affleck's Palace, and I was looking around, and I was actually looking for tattoos actually. And then I thought, I can't get my ears pierced or anything. Like, why not get something else pierced? And I must admit, I was actually looking at getting my John Thomas pierced. I was looking for a Prince Albert, and I went in and said, how painful it is, blah, blah. And the guy went, actually, your Prince Albert's not that painful. And I was like, really? It's going through the end of your cock? And he was like, no, honestly, it's not. Which I don't really still believe. And I said, you know what? I said, oh. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and he basically said you can't have sex for a while. And I was just like, I'm a young virile adult. I don't know why I snorted then. I'm a young virile adult. I don't really not want to have sex. I was like, 19 maybe, 18, 19, and I'd have been 19, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to forego sex while it heals, so that's out. And I was like, what about the nipple? And he basically said like the nipple's like the most painful thing you can pierce on a man. And I was like, get out of town. And he said, no, I can't. And I was like, okay then. But I sat down and had it done. And it was excruciatingly painful. I've never felt pain like it, apart from when I had a twisted testicle. But that's a story for another day. And yes, gents, that can happen. Just hope it doesn't. And it was a painful experience. So after experiencing like what a pierced nipple can be, I thought, well, that's like one needle going through, and fair enough, it goes through your flesh, but it's quick. This is like prolonged, lots of little needles pricking you and shoving ink in you. So I was thinking that's going to be excruciatingly painful, but it wasn't too bad. Like I was more annoyed by it. I must admit, it was more of an annoyance to me while she was doing it. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I felt like the bee's knees when I'd go out drinking with my mates. I'd try and put shirts on that were slightly short enough that you could like peek the tattoo. And looking back, like it was pathetic. Really, I was like a 19-year-old lad. Well, that's not how old when I had that done. I've been about 21, maybe 22 when I had that done. So I was like 20, like early 20s, and I thought I was ace. I thought I was like look at me. Like I'm like a Hell's Angel. Pathetic, really. But you got to start somewhere. Everyone starts, with their first experience of everything, and that was my first experience with a tattoo. And I never looked back after that. Like, in my brain, I thought, I may get another one years down the line if inspiration hits me. But it was weeks. I think it was weeks later. I think we went to the festival. And then when I came back, I had my first big tattoo, really. And that was really the start of the lower right leg sleeve for me, for the Iron Maiden stuff. I had the Eddie from No Prayer for a Dying album on the... I have to check, I'm looking at my legs. the outside of my right leg. And that did hurt a little bit. I must admit that was a little painful. It was the hair that did it. When she was doing all the hair and stuff, that was quite sore. And then that, yeah, it just spiraled after that, I can't even remember the order I had them done, to be honest. But on my leg, I have, Iron Maiden-wise, I have, obviously, no prayer for the dying. On the inside of that leg, I have the Trooper, because you've got to have the Trooper, I think. On the back of my leg, I've got a comic book style El Dorado one from the Final Frontier album. Next to that, I have. That's like my lower back, like lower calf. Like above that to the left, I have. What do I have there? Power Slave. No, not Power Slave. Oh God, what's the album called? Oh my God, my brain sometimes. Anyway, on my knee, I literally have one on my knee. It's the Eddie from the Brave New World album. He's like clouds in the sky. So that's literally covers my knee, and it just looks like when it was healing, people kept saying when it was new, people were thinking that my leg was bruised, and obviously it wasn't. It was just that I'd had a blue and purple tattoo done, which is hilarious, really. So I'm gonna have to. My brain's completely gone, and I can't think of any of my Iron Maiden albums at all. So I'm just gonna have to Google what bloody tattoo this is. Oh my God. Yes, and on the back of my leg, I have Fear of the Dark tattoo. Because I bloody love that song, and it's one of the best. It's one of the absolutely best album covers, albums that they do, and it's song that they've got. It's just a cracking image, but that was so friggin' painful. It was, yeah. Having the back of your knee tattooed it's just. I've never pissed needles, but it felt like I was pissing needles. It was like a scratchy, irritating, extremely painful experience. And if you know the Fear of the Dark album, he's like reaching out, and his hand basically wraps around the back of my leg. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it is Power Slave. I thought it was. Yeah, it's the Power. I don't know why I doubt myself. Yeah, it's the Power Slave Eddie, where he's like wrapped up like a mummy and there's like electric coming off him. And what else do I have? I've got another one. You think you should know your own legs, really, shouldn't you? No, I think that's it. But I've got a little bit of a gap. So I think I'm gonna have. I think I'm going to try and squeeze either the Peace of Mind Eddie, or the Live After Death, or Somewhere in Time Eddie, so I'm going to try and squeeze a couple of them. But the thing is, it's not very big, so they'll either have to be like large, squeezed in pieces, so like Eddie's face, or like a stylized piece of him, or something like that, or they're going to have to just be infilled bits, because I want them to be big enough where you can actually tell what the hell they are, and they've got to be big enough to detail them as well. Otherwise, what's the point? Sorry, my chair's so squeaky today. It's so hot today. I think everything's moaning. My mic stand's taking a hit. It keeps flopping. Oh yeah. By the way, is there's a sound improved? Because I do have this like sound shield thing now, and I'm hoping it's doing something because it's heavy on this microphone stand. So I'm hoping it is achieving some like more crisp kind of audio without a bit of reflections and stuff, because I felt it was slightly echoey. So hopefully that's working for you. Yes. Anyway, left leg. Say I've got Ariel sat on a bomb. When I was a kid, I loved Ariel. I used to love the Little Mermaid. I kind of wanted to marry her. Um, Part of me still does want to marry her. Sorry, Sarah. Yeah, I had the biggest crush on her when I was a kid. I know she's a bloody drawn character in a cartoon, but she just did something for me. In that scene when she's on the rock and the waves crash against her and the wind's blowing her hair. Oh my god! I'm gonna have to take a drink. Is it weird to be attracted to a cartoon character like that? Because like, seriously, yeah. Anyway, tattoos. Yeah, so the writing I've got going around my left wrist is in Gaelic, and I got one of my friends to translate it. He has relatives that live in Southern Ireland, and I sent him the writing, and they translated it, because Google Translate isn't always correct, and I was going to pay someone to do it, basically, and I was chatting to him one day when I was at my friend's house, and he said, well, write it down, I'll send it to my relatives, and they'll do it for you. And I was like, really? And I was like, yeah, how much do they want? He went, I'll just text you what they say it is, or email. I was like, oh, okay then. So that's how that happened. But what it says is, and it's taken from a sci-fi book, or part of it's taken from a sci-fi book, which is called The Stars My Destination. So it says, I don't know what it says in Gaelic. I'm sorry, I couldn't even pronounce it when I was having it translated. So it says, from the ashes, the stars my destination. So there you go. On my left arm, it says non omnia moria, which basically means it's taking a quote from Homer, not Simpson, of the Iliad fame, the ancient Greek philosopher and writer extraordinaire, famous for obviously the Iliad and the Odyssey. I can never say it. The Odyssey. I don't know. Anyway, he wrote the Iliad. Read it. It's brilliant. It's very long, complex, but it's magnificent. Yeah. So I had a quote book, and I was flicking through it one day at work. I used to take it to work to read when I had a bit of downtime, because it's always interesting to read what famous people have said, or profound things. So, and it really stuck to me, because I believe in like reincarnation, and because I think for me, if you say to someone like, "Oh, what's it like to not exist?" Like, it's beyond human comprehension to be able to imagine not feeling consciousness. So this one says non omnimoria, which basically means I won't altogether die. Like, I can't altogether die, or something like that. I won't altogether die. And the one that mirrors it on my right arm is again a Homer quote, and he basically says something about premonition, basically. So this says premonere or something, which is Latin for premonition, because again, I like kind of like that spiritual thing where I think our human instincts heightened enough sometimes that we can tell the future in some ways. Like, I used to have accurate deja vus, but they'd be like about the most mundane things. Like, I would just like recall conversations with people and think, I dreamt this the other night exactly like this. So that's why that's there. So like premonition. And yeah, and obviously the Sarah writing on my finger is quite obvious. I had that done for the wedding. She didn't know I was going to have it done, and it just simply says Sarah. It's weird having things done on your hands and things, though, because they can wear away. Because obviously your cells and stuff, and obviously you do everything with your hands. So caring for tattoos is really important. I'm terrible. I don't moisturize them as much as I should, and I don't moisturize anything as much as I should, actually. I'm pretty bad with self-care in general, really. But yeah, I'd love more tattoos. My brother was meant to be designing me. Heed this comment, Gavin, if you listen to this. A full Celtic knot left arm sleeve, which will now incorporate a Philadelphia Eagle logo. But it was meant to be the smoke from the flame that's on my arm. And I may have the flames infilled at some point. Like, there's some of the flames are like whited out, so I was thinking about maybe having some UV ink added in, and also maybe some skulls and stuff put in there. My right arm, I was designing a tattoo a while ago, a long time ago actually. It was when my grandfather passed away, so I decided to start designing like a tribute tattoo to him. And we used to always play cards, so I was designing like 4 cards spread out. On each card was something that represented my memories of him, but also like his life. So he used to work in Gallagher's cigarette factory, and he used to work in a linen mill, and we used to go to his caravan and stuff like that. And he lived in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So like one of them had Gallagher's on, and one of them had Belfast City Hall and a lighthouse near where we used to go to the beach. And it needs finishing, but that is going on my arm at some point. And I also would love my left leg, as it now has like something from my childhood. I've kind of decided that my right leg's like Iron Maiden territory, and I think I'll keep that to just the lower leg, unless something comes out that I think I need to start spreading around again. But my lower left leg, now it has obviously Ariel Little Mermaid stylized as an aircraft pin-up model, but I think that's going to be like my childhood nostalgia movie cartoon character leg. So on that leg now, I've decided I would love tattooed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Johnny Five from Short Circuit. Who else do I want on there? I'd love Mork from Mork and Mindy, to be honest. I'd love Robin Williams, but faces always scare me. You get people tattooed on you, like cartoon characters and stuff. I always feel like are a bit more forgiving, but a face is, your eyes can. It's that suspension of like disbelief. Your brain knows when something's not right. It's like when you watch a film, the CGI is not great on someone, like when they're trying to make someone young looking, and there's something your brain just picks up. So I would love like a Robin Williams tattoo. Maybe the compromise could be Genie from Aladdin. Actually, yes. There's a thought. But like, I've seen some terrible tattoos in my time, but you know what? They all tell a story, and I think, for me, like, the writing and stuff I've got myself and the things I'm planning to have in the future it's just where I was in my life at the time and what I was into, and because people have said to me, actually, why have you got all these Iron Maiden tattoos? Like when the band breaks up, or people in the band decide not to carry on anymore, or what would you do? And I was like, well, I'll still like Iron Maiden's music, like, and if you've ever looked at an Iron Maiden album, the artwork's bloody amazing. So I've still got something on my leg that looks cool, is cool, I still like, and looks good on my leg. So for me, it's a win all round. Sorry, I stopped the recording then. I'm not editing it. I literally accidentally pressed the space bar and it stopped recording. So, and I'm not going back to edit that because that's not what this show is about. It's not about editing. It's not about it's me delivering this in the rawest format, and I fucked up and I pressed space bar. So yeah. So basically, I was just saying, each their own, basically. That's to summarise, each their own. If you see someone with a terrible tattoo, they either know it's terrible or it's deliberately meant to be that way. And either way, it's not hurting you. It's not on your skin. Who cares? I follow an Instagram account. It's called Sucky Tattoos, and they literally, people share to them like terrible tattoos or bad practice and stuff. And some of the tattoos on there are terrible, but some of them are very inventive as well. So you'll think to yourself, God, I wouldn't have that on my skin, but fair play to you. That's creative, and I think it's just an expression, isn't it? And there's so many people out there that are talented with actually, doing the tattoo artistry. Hats off to them. It's not cheap by any means, though. It's not cheap. I mean, God knows how much I've spent on like just the Iron Maiden tattoos. It's got to be a couple of grand at least. So, you've got to put a bit of thought into it because you don't want to obviously waste money. But yeah, you know what? If you want to have a tattoo, have a tattoo, and I'll post some pictures of them on Instagram at some point. I'll get Sarah to take a few snaps of them, and we'll upload a few so you can have a look at what they look like. I'll moisturise first and get them looking spiffing for you. But yes, that's tattoos. If you've got tattoos, send me a picture of yours. Share what you've got. Mention in the comments on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and let me know what you've got. Have you got any that you regret? Have you got any that didn't turn out the way you wanted, or is there a special meaning for any? Yeah. Oh, speaking of special meaning, actually, I forgot about the one on my chest, which is probably, I've just thought, the one on my chest is as a very, very, and I wanted it done before my wedding, but it's got a great meaning to me. It's the handwriting of a dear friend of mine who passed away, and he passed away. I think it's like 7 years ago now. Maybe I think it's 7 years ago. And he had cancer, and he was just the best guy, like a second dad to me. And he wrote me a letter before he passed away, and he used to sign things, and he used to say to you when you left, peace and love. And I had his handwriting from that letter tattooed on me with a thistle because he was Scottish. So that's a really personal one. can't believe I nearly forgot to say that. But yeah, that was my pal Ernie. And I really wanted that done before my wedding day. So it's the same with the Sarah on my finger and my Philadelphia Eagles tattoo and that one. I wanted to make sure that I had them things on my body. It was really important to me. I don't know why. It's just human nature, and I think that's how I wanted him to, be at the wedding in tattoo form. See? Deep, and everyone has a reason for a tattoo. Yeah. So there you go. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do a bit of rebranding soon, I think. I've been messing around with the logo. I've been messing around with how the format's going to be for the podcast. So watch this space. Your feedback is always really appreciated. So if you've got anything you'd like to tell me or input in, please do. But I say the logo's going to change soon, and I'm going to mix up how these are delivered. Maybe mix up the schedule again. So sorry to mess you around, but I'm new to it. I'm still finding my feet. But thank you very much for listening. Keep listening and share. If you think someone else would like this podcast about tattoos or any of the other ones, tell your friends, tell your family, share them on, reshare my posts. Thank you very much for being epic, and I will speak to you soon. You've been listening to Stephen Speak Podcast. I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. A bit of post-credit chat here. I missed one of my tattoos out. I'm such an idiot. I have another one on my right arm that says Temenosuke, which is from the Matrix. It's above the Oracle's kitchen door, and it means know thyself. And I think it was actually the second tattoo I ever got, actually, thinking of it. Can't believe I missed that one out. Anyway, see you soon.